Good evening, Richmond County, and welcome to the RO Sports Show brought to you by RO Yellow, Richmond County's new online business directory. As many folks know in Richmond County, this Friday is the big rivalry game between the Richmond Raiders and the Scotland Fighting Scots. Both communities are ready for the big game at Pate Stadium in Laurinburg, but first, let's recap last Friday's game between the Raiders and the visiting 71st Falcons. When senior defensive end Derek Everett fell on top of a loose ball in the closing seconds of Friday's Sandhills Athletic Conference game, it was the 7th time the Raiders passed around the infamous gold turnover pads. Behind a season-high 7 turnovers, which included 5 fumbles and 2 interceptions, the number 1 ranked Raiders flew past the Falcons to improve to a perfect 10-0. The 45-6 victory also served as the program's 500th all-time win, which came on a night the Raiders honored their 35 senior players. An added bonus was Richmond's clinching of at least a share of the 2019 SAC title, the second consecutive season they've done that. A 35-point first half that saw the Raiders score 5 touchdowns helped put the game out of reach early against the Falcons. After overcoming a fumble on the first play from scrimmage, the Raider offense rolled to a score on their next 4 offensive possessions. The Raider defensive efforts to contain a smash-mouth running game from 71st worked, as Richmond not only forced the 7 turnovers, but it held the Falcons offense to 190 rushing yards when it had been averaging 282.3 yards per game entering the contest. The win kept Richmond atop the SAC standings by 1 game over Pinecrest and Scotland. That sets up the regular season finale against the rival Fighting Scots tomorrow night on the road in Laurinburg. Of course, it wasn't just the 500th win in program history that Richmond Senior High School celebrated on Friday. As it was the last regular season game at Raider Stadium, the school celebrated senior night for its football players, cheerleaders, and band members. In front of a full Raider Stadium, Richmond's principal Jim Butler read the names of 35 players and 9 cheerleaders. Each student athlete was escorted by family members and was accompanied by a RSHS teacher or faculty member. Waiting at the end of the line was head coach Brian Till, who took over the program when the class of 2020 was in its spring semester of their freshman year. He met each player with a hug and some personal words of encouragement. After the football team filed through 1 player at a time, complete with a synopsis of career milestones, favorite memories, and future plans, the Lady Raider cheerleaders followed suit. Greeting them at the end of the procession was head coach Meredith Hood, along with a gift from their fellow underclassmen teammates. The cheerleaders also took the night's festivities to a more serious degree, making signs and posters to honor those impacted by breast cancer. Junior cheerleader Macy Fall held a sign for her mother Amy, who battled breast cancer a couple years ago. Also, senior Gracie Allen, along with several other teammates, supported her mother Crystal Norton, who is currently fighting the disease. During halftime, the 14 seniors of the Raider Marching Band and Color Guard were recognized for their service to the respective programs. Escorted by parents and family members from midfield, the Marching Band seniors were met by first-year band director Edwin Carter. Carter, along with Raider Band fans, President Randy Stubbs, presented each member with a gold medal emblazoned with his or her name on it. Following the presentation, the Marching Raiders did what they do best and performed their show, Dreams of Persia. It was also the debut of the band's new uniforms. Stubbs noted this was the first set of new uniforms since the early 2000s and that they wanted to keep the old traditional style with the hats, but make them more modern. Stubbs also tipped his cap to Gus Bellamy, the Raider Band fans vice president, for his helping hand in ordering the new threads. For the full list of all the senior players, cheerleaders, band, and color guard, you can visit richmondobserver.com and go under the sports tab. A total of 5 Richmond volleyball players were named to the 2019 All-SAC team. Head coach Ashley Larson took to Twitter Friday morning to announce that seniors Jaden Johnson, Carly Lambeth, and Lane Maltsby, along with juniors Georgia Grace Anderson and Jakira Covington, were all chosen to represent the Lady Raiders this season. The picks for Lambeth and Maltsby were their second career selections, having both been named as juniors last season. Anderson, Covington, and Johnson all received their first respective all-conference nod. Richmond finished the season with a 19-7 overall record, including a 9-5 mark against SAC opponents. That saw the Lady Raiders take the number 3 seed into the conference tournament, making it the championship game. Larson's team also made it to the NCHS AA 4A state playoffs for the 6th consecutive season, the last 2 under her tutelage. When asked individually after Tuesday's practice what the first thing was that came to mind when they thought about the football rivalry between Richmond and Scotland, 2 players and 2 coaches all said the same thing: the best in the state. Although the 2 communities are less than 30 miles apart, they often coined the battle between the Raiders and the Fighting Scots the cream of the crop, as the rivalry gains statewide notoriety every year. Currently 10-0 Richmond is the number 1 team in 4A play, while 9-1 Scotland sits at the number 4 spot. But that attention and pressure to do well by the fans isn't something Till and his Raiders are fretting, despite there being the outright SAC title on the line. The Raiders entered the contest looking for their first undefeated regular season since 2006. It's also been a decade since Richmond has won on the road at Scotland, a 35-7 win back in 2009. Scotland's lone loss this season came 2 weeks ago when the SAC opponent Pinecrest upset the Scots in Laurinburg 36-28. During Till's tenure, the Raiders have split the 2 games against the Scots. Richmond ended an 8-year drought to Scotland with a 23-8 win at home last season in a game that was only a 2-point difference in the 3rd quarter. Back on the road this fall, the Raiders will also have to prepare for a full stadium that is expecting a sellout crowd. Kickoff at Pate Stadium is set for 7:30 p.m. And that's going to do it for us here at the RO Sports Show. For the latest updates on every sport across Richmond County, you can head on over to richmondobserver.com and follow the Ross Facebook page for your weekly wrap-up. You can also find some exclusive RO Sports content on all of our social media platforms. In the meantime, I'm Russell Parker. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week on the RO Sports Show. Have a great week.